There are moments in life that shape us long before we ever understand why. For me, it began as a 12-year-old boy who loved to write. I didn't know then that communication, that storytelling, would one day become the way I helped build people. But it started even earlier than that, inside a home that was more than a home. It was a refuge. My mother, Elder Joan Ivory, turned our house into a safe haven. Women who were hurting, homeless, escaping abuse, knew they could knock on our door and receive clothing, prayer, kindness, and dignity. Every weekend she visited shelters, carrying bags of toiletries, gifts, and hope. And as a child, I watched this, not at a distance, but up close. Service wasn't an event, it was our lifestyle. One day, while watching my mother cook and clean at a community event, I looked around and asked myself a question I would never forget. Where are the men? Where were the ones who should have been helping her, honoring her, showing up for the community? And right then, I promised myself that I would live differently. I would always be present. I would serve with strength. I would see about the community the way I would see about my mother. That promise shaped everything. At 19 years old, before I had titles or platforms, I led a young men's group. Every week, for 3 years straight, I took them to a buffet and we talked about manhood, responsibility, identity, and becoming better men. Those dinners weren't fancy. They weren't organized programs, but they were powerful because someone showed up for them consistently. And that became the foundation of my life. Show up, see people, build people, love people through kindness. Over the years, kindness began to take on new forms, giving bus fare to a stranger who later said, "You changed my life." Leaving a drum set outside that turned a young neighbor into a full-time professional drummer. Buying gifts for coworkers in need. Giving balloons to women who needed to feel seen. Blessing fathers with bracelets that reminded them they mattered. Mentoring youth. Grieving with families. Eulogizing more than 1,000 loved ones. These weren't events. They were moments of heart. Moments that became the blueprint for something bigger. And after 20 years of this journey, the Builders of People Initiative was born. A nonprofit created not to start something new, but to give structure to what God had already placed in my hands. A movement of confidence, identity, emotional safety, and transformational kindness. When you support this initiative, you're not just giving to a program. You're investing in a nature, a posture, a lifestyle that has been lived out for 2 decades. You're joining a mission that believes kindness is not weak, it is powerful. It restores families. It uplifts communities. It gives people hope. You're supporting a movement committed to being good, being present, and being kind to others. This is the Builders of People Initiative, and together we can build people, one act of kindness at a time.